Hello, quick update on Thunder and East. We've got through the bulk of the summer. We were halfway through September 42, and every time I've seen enough now. I know what to make of the game with the sort of tweaked house rules. I can get it put to bed. Things happen in the game which sort of draw me on to sort of keep playing it because it's quite interesting. The Germans essentially have managed to make a pretty serious attempt to get to Stalingrad, but they came up short and were thrown back across the Don, which actually, in a slightly ironic fashion, managed to open up opportunities elsewhere, because that sort of northern shoulder of the bulge was a little bit weak, and the Panzer armies were thrown back over the Don, which almost prompted them to sort of try and drive elsewhere, which is what they've done. And so they've pushed on towards Voronezh, and it's completely unhinged the Russian line. So while that's going on in the south, there's this gradual creep forward with a few local pushbacks by the Germans of the front around Moscow and in the north. So it's nicely poised. I suspect that it's the German turn coming up now, which, because they managed to get good weather, which is still pretty likely, it's a 5 in 6 chance of September, they've got the flight, and they'll probably be able to cause quite a few Russian losses. It may be enough to almost call the game. They've got one offensive left. Both sides are very down on resources. I think the Germans have got like half a population point and maybe 1 or 2 equipment points, a little bit of fuel. The Russians have about 8 population points left. So they're both keen to get into the next season in October to get some restocks. But quick look at the map. It's just a very short video update of where we are. So in the north, there've been a few pushes here with a few losses, which the Germans now can't really afford to replace. So they're going to have to do a bit of patching up there. There's been some toing and froing in this sector, pretty much back where we started. 1 or 2 hexes grabbed by the Russians off the Germans in the Moscow sector. But the big news was in the south, the big push on Stalingrad. They got to this hex with a Panzer army, which was with one of the last few Russian offensives they had in reserve. They were able to throw both Panzer armies, one here and one here, back over the Don, which sort of made the Germans rethink their options. And the best option was to swing the Panzers down here whilst there was still some decent weather and drive through towards Voronezh, which is what they've done. So that's completely unhinged this position for the Russians, so they've had to pull away, and the Germans have got an offensive left, so this HQ will probably activate, which will allow them to cause pretty significant losses to this line, and also they'll probably also take Voronezh, which should be a reasonable effort. There's no plans to sort of try and get down to the Caucasus. I mean, it's just a stretch, but there might be sufficient losses that the Russians are really going to struggle to replace. So I'm going to crack on a little bit further. I keep saying that, but the game is really quite good, quite enjoying it. So I really want to see what will be the result of this last push before the bad weather sets in, which is, I guess, what the Russians are praying for.